It was almost midnight when Adam Walker arrived at the Grand Kensington Hotel. He thought he was checking in for just one quiet night, but before sunrise, he would question whether the hotel itself had ever been real. The receptionist welcomed him warmly and handed over an old brass key. Room 307. It seemed perfectly ordinary, a number Adam would never forget. Following the quiet hallway, Adam stopped in front of room 307. Everything looked perfectly normal, yet for reasons he couldn't explain, the silence felt unusually heavy. The room looked immaculate. Fresh linens, warm lights, and complete silence. There was nothing unusual about room 307. At least, not yet. As Adam settled into the room, something immediately caught his attention. A welcome card on the desk read, "Welcome back, Mr. Walker." The problem was simple. He had never been there before. Adam checked the earlier pages. Every one of them was blank. He wrote his name again for comparison, and the two signatures matched perfectly. Suddenly, room 307 no longer felt like an ordinary hotel room. Adam walked to the window, hoping fresh air would clear his thoughts. But below, the glowing hotel sign displayed a message that froze him in place. "Welcome, Mr. Adam Walker." Adam grabbed the room phone and called the front desk. There was no dial tone, no ringing. Then the screen lit up with a message that made no sense. "You already checked out." Adam opened the door, expecting the same hotel corridor. Instead, every room number had disappeared. The hallway looked familiar, yet somehow completely different. Adam stepped into the hallway and looked back. The room was still there, but the number plate had vanished. Only the brass key in his hand insisted that room 307 had ever existed. Halfway down the hallway, Adam found a brass directory listing every room on the floor. It went from 306 straight to 308. Room 307 wasn't missing by accident. It had been erased. Adam returned to the same door. There was still no room number, yet the brass key labeled 307 slid into the lock as if it belonged there. Whatever room 307 was, the hotel clearly didn't want anyone to admit it existed. Adam pushed the door open once again and froze. The luxury suite had vanished. In its place stood an empty room, covered in dust, with only a single wooden chair waiting in the center. On the only chair in the empty room rested a sealed envelope. Across the front, in elegant handwriting, were 3 words: "For Adam Walker." It carried no date, no sender, only his name. With careful hands, Adam opened the envelope. Inside was only a single sentence: "Do not leave room 307 after midnight." It wasn't signed. It didn't explain why. Adam checked the time. It was 11:59 p.m. Only 1 minute remained before midnight, and suddenly, the warning in the letter no longer felt like a suggestion. Midnight arrived without a sound. The hallway lights grew dim, and the silence became almost impossible to ignore. Adam slipped the warning into his pocket and waited. Then came 3 slow knocks. Adam turned toward the hallway immediately, but there was no one there. Only the empty corridor, and the key marked 307 growing heavier in his hand. Adam stepped into the hallway. It was completely empty, except for a housekeeping cart left in the middle of the corridor. There wasn't another person in sight. On top of the cart lay an open guest registry. Adam's name was already written inside. Next to it, the status read, "Checked out, 12 a.m." But Adam was still standing in the hotel. Beneath the guest registry, Adam found the housekeeping schedule for that day. Every room had been cleaned, except one. Room 307 wasn't missing from the checklist. It had never been printed there at all. Then the elevator chimed. Its doors opened slowly, revealing no one inside. The empty cabin waited in complete silence, as if it had arrived for only one passenger. Against every warning, Adam walked toward the open elevator. It stood waiting in complete silence, as if it had been expecting him all along. Adam pressed the button for the lobby. The button responded, but the elevator never moved. Instead, the display above the doors showed only one number: 307. The elevator doors began closing on their own. Adam repeatedly pressed the door open button, but nothing happened. For the first time that night, he realized he was no longer in control. The doors finally sealed shut. There was no movement, no sound. Yet the display began counting down on its own. 307, 306, 305, as though the elevator had started a journey that no one could feel. When the elevator doors finally opened, Adam expected the hotel lobby. Instead, he stepped into a corridor that looked decades older, as if the building itself had traveled back in time. A brass directory hung on the wall ahead. This time, room 307 wasn't missing. It was clearly listed, with an arrow pointing deeper into the corridor, as though someone wanted Adam to find it. Following the brass sign, Adam reached the end of the corridor. Room 307 was finally there, but something was wrong. The door had no handle. Only an old brass keyhole waited in complete silence. The key slid perfectly into the lock, but just before turning it, Adam noticed a brass plaque beside the door. It read, "Only those who have already left may enter." His hand stopped instantly. Adam ignored the warning. He slowly turned the key. A heavy metallic click echoed through the corridor, and the ancient door unlocked by itself. Beyond the door wasn't another hotel room. It was a luxury suite, untouched by time. Everything looked as if someone had left only seconds ago, yet no one was there. Adam stepped closer to the old guest register. There was only one recent-looking entry, his own name. But the check-in date beneath it read October 14th, 1989. As Adam turned the page, an old photograph slipped onto the desk. It showed the hotel lobby decades earlier, and a bearded man dressed almost exactly like him. But before Adam could see the man's face clearly, the photo stopped just short of revealing it. Adam turned the photograph over. On the back, someone had written a single sentence: "Room 307 remembers everyone." Beneath it was a date from 1989. Next to the photograph, sat an old brass desk calendar. It was frozen on the exact same date, October 15th, 1989. Adam looked down at his own watch, and for the first time, he wondered which one was telling the truth. Inside the desk drawer, Adam found an old leather ledger. It looked untouched for decades, as if someone had carefully preserved it, waiting for the right person to open it. Adam opened the old ledger. Every page was blank, except one. At the top, today's date had already been written. Beneath it, only one sentence waited. The next guest has finally arrived. As Adam turned the next page, an old newspaper clipping slipped onto the desk. The headline read, "Hotel guest vanishes without a trace." The article had been printed in October 1989. The old photograph was badly damaged. The guest's face was gone, but the key in his hand wasn't. It carried the exact same number as Adam's own key, 307. One sentence had been circled decades ago. The missing guest was never seen leaving the hotel. Adam slowly looked back toward the open doorway, suddenly wondering if he still could. Adam rushed toward the exit, but the hallway was gone. Beyond the open door stood nothing except a solid brick wall. The only way out had vanished without a sound. Adam touched the bricks one by one. The wall was completely real. There were no hidden doors, no secret passage. The hallway had simply ceased to exist. When Adam turned back, the old brass clock had started ticking. He checked his own watch, and for the first time, both clocks showed exactly the same time. Somehow, two different worlds had begun to move together. The clock suddenly fell silent. Beneath it, Adam discovered a small leather notebook. Across the cover, embossed in faded gold, were just two words: Room 307. Adam opened the notebook. The very first entry sent a chill through him. The room does not choose people. It remembers them. Suddenly, every impossible clue began to feel connected. Every page told the story of another guest, and every story ended with the same haunting sentence: they never truly left. On the final page, only one empty signature line remained, waiting for the next guest. Before Adam could close the notebook, a registration form slipped onto the desk. Every line was blank, except one. The guest name had already been filled in. It simply read, Adam Walker. Adam turned the registration form over. Only one instruction was printed on the back: complete your registration before midnight. He checked his watch. It was already 11:12 p.m. On the desk, the old fountain pen waited beside the empty signature line. Adam reached for it, then stopped. Somehow, signing that paper no longer felt like checking into a hotel. It felt like crossing a line he could never uncross. Adam finally reached for the pen, but before he could write a single word, fresh ink appeared on the page by itself. One word slowly formed beneath his name: arrived. Then, somewhere beyond the sealed wall, Adam heard an old elevator moving. Above the bricks, a forgotten floor indicator quietly changed from 2 to 3. Whatever existed beyond that wall had just arrived on his floor. The floor indicator stayed on 3. Then, near the sealed wall, Adam noticed an old brass mail slot. A cream-colored envelope slowly slid through it, but no one was there to deliver it. Adam picked up the envelope with trembling hands. Across the front, written in elegant black ink, were 4 simple words: for Mr. Adam Walker. There was no sender, no stamp, only his name. Adam carefully opened the envelope. Inside was only one handwritten letter. The first sentence made him stop breathing for a moment. If you are reading this, you arrived exactly as I did. Adam kept reading. The next lines were even stranger. Do not waste time trying to escape. The room is not your prison. It is your witness. Whoever wrote the letter knew exactly what Adam was experiencing. The final paragraph contained one last instruction. When the clock reaches midnight, look only into the mirror. Adam slowly turned toward the old mirror beside the fireplace. The mirror reflected Adam perfectly, until he noticed the clock. Behind him, it was only 11:13, but inside the reflection, it was already 11:59. Midnight was coming, only on the other side of the glass. Adam understood something at last. The room had never wanted to trap him. It only wanted its story to be remembered. He quietly returned everything exactly where he had found it. Then, without a sound, the hallway came back. Adam left room 307 with nothing but questions and one unforgettable night. When the door finally closed behind him, his name quietly disappeared from the hotel's register, as if he had never checked in at all. But somewhere, room 307 kept waiting for its next guest.